Right now, I'm just going through this process in my head. Like, they basically lied to us on the census about how many of us black people were here. Like, they always had us outnumbered. And we know, even with them outnumbering us on the census, that a lot of those numbers were manipulated because they had people identifying to look more Caucasian or white than black. So census would never reflect that there was ever a majority of a black race in the United States, period, when we all know this shit is Tamerica, right? Or Tumeri, however you want to say it. And it's so crazy because I grew up like hearing like that is way more women than men. And I'm 40 years old, so I'm going to say a good 30 years at least of my life, or less, or a little bit less, maybe like 28 could be. But I've been hearing that shit ever since I was in like middle school. And it used to look like it, honestly. It really did. But then we think about all the men that played women in roles, and we think about all the presidents that had women posing as men wives. And then we look around now and it seems like men are way more than women. Like they just everywhere. It just seemed like a lie. And the whole time is like you look around and you surrounded by some fucking invaders. And I feel like the same reason they would lie on the census about, who would be the majority in the space is the same reason that they will lie about who makes up the majority on this planet. It gives more room for deception. I mean, look at the things I'm just saying. Like, they playing roles. So if you don't really truly know, you don't really truly know. All of this came up because I remember reading this book in the library, and I seen back in the day that it looked like they were selling Pratt Street here in Baltimore, Maryland for a penny, because it was signs that said a penny for Pratt Street. And it was like 1920s, and I saw black and white men, and the black men was like in suits and ties, and like they was dressed just as good as the white men. So I'm like, and when I asked Grok, it was saying like white immigrants that came up here, the white immigrants and the black men that was here, they set out street carts, and they would sell not technically Pratt Street for a penny, but it was like a catch line that they would use to get more people to come over to their vendors. So I'm like, that's crazy. So I'm like, so if these white people was immigrants, did Baltimore ever have a majority of black people in it? And of course, Grok said no. But the crazy thing is, Grok didn't even know about a penny for Pratt Street. So I had to actually call Grok out and be like, a penny for Pratt Street is something that you don't know. I saw it at the library in a room because they tried to say it was a fiction book, and it's not. It's in a room where you trace your genealogy. So it's records, actually. And then Grok went into deep research. It was like, oh, well, you must have been at the Baltimore Pratt Free Library, the central one at that. Oh, but you know about it when I tell you, but before then you would deny me that it even exists. So it's so crazy that AI, they know. You just have to know. And so with that being said, it just makes me want to probe more into what was the true reality. And I mean, we already know with the census, they've changed the numbers. So what else is going on that we don't know? What else and why? I'm going to leave that question open-ended, even though I feel like I know. But hey, you never know anything. So I'm going to leave that open-ended just for you guys to continue to think about it and weave into this fabric of thought. Happy Black History.